Welcome to another episode of Planet ARK. In the last two episodes, we delved deeper into the mysteries of the northern island on the eastern side of the Ark Center. This time, we will head northwest, where a bunch of new islands present an entire new ecosystem drastically different from what we have seen before. At first glance, the geometry and flora are vastly different, as steam and smoke from lava streams can be seen from great distances. To the east of this giant landmass lies another small island, part of the same ecosystem. It is closer to the northern island discussed in the previous episode, and it is almost as if the island is cut in half. On the side facing the northern island, vegetation is rare, but green palm trees, thick grass, and even some flowers here and there can still be found. It becomes apparent that the giant spike-shaped rocks in the middle of this island have kept the poisonous ash at bay, as the other side is barren, scorched, resembling a forgotten land where the poisoned soil is covered in a thick layer of ash. Because of this divide, this island received the name of Scorched Island by the first scientists who discovered it. One thing that is very notable about these islands is that herbivores are not present. The most logical explanation for this is that there's simply nothing to eat here, since all the vegetation had been scorched. Scientists believed that on the green side of the Scorched Island there used to be herbivores, but that they all got eaten by the large number of predators. Because of this, the predators themselves live in a hierarchy where the smaller ones are often the prey of the larger dinosaurs. One of those predators that is heavily present on both islands is the saber-tooth. The saber-tooth mostly hunts at night, meaning that the early moment of dawn is a good moment to spot one in the wild. Their bright green eyes make it to where they have perfect vision in even the darkest of places. The plains or open fields offer a wide viewing range, giving the saber-tooth the preference to hunt here. Due to its thick fur, the saber-tooth can also often be found in cold places and on top of mountains. Their giant claws are perfect to traverse rough mountainous terrain. The fact that they have thrived in this hot and extreme environment is probably due to the fact that there are such a large number of them. If a saber-tooth finds a suitable prey or is attacked, it lets out a loud roar and immediately more of its pack come in to help. The saber-tooth often lives and hunts in packs with up to 6, but the scouting is often done by an individual. Once the target has been taken down, they all share the wealth of meat that can be hoisted. As the sun rises, more and more animals awake, and life goes on, as living for another day seems quite the challenge on the Scorched Island. High above the island, giant bird-like creatures roam the free skies. The Argentavis is the most ferocious and aggressive flying species known on Planet ARK. These Argentavis are the closest resemblance to birds as we know them back on Earth. They are covered in large sprawling feathers from head to toe, along with a giant wingspan. Despite their high population on this particular island, they are quite selective when it comes to their breeding grounds. Their giant size demands a lot of meat intake, which will not suffice by just hunting fish. The Argentavis needs to hunt bigger prey. Though it has no teeth, its sharp beak is perfect for puncturing even the hardest of tissue, giving them the ability to feed. Due to their massive size that requires a lot of energy, they can only fly for a short amount of time. They often will settle on the ground to rest, making them vulnerable to any looming predator nearby. This weakness makes the Argentavis the most common food supply for the others on this island. But the Argentavis themselves also hunt those predators, and pick up smaller creatures like raptors or a saber-tooth with their giant talons that are perfect for grabbing and ripping open its skin. Color variation can vary greatly as well, and scientists even spotted some Argentavis with a fiery red look to them, almost resembling the mythic creature of the phoenix. Normally in other ecosystems beside the Scorched Island, they found it most likely that the Argentavis would be at the top of the food chain, with very few predators to worry about. This was not the case on the Scorched Island, and scientists believed that the fiery red Argentavis hailed from another nesting ground further away from the island. Another peculiar thing about the Scorched Island was that the hierarchy becomes very apparent as some of the predators seem to ignore one another. The Carnotaur, a predator with giant horns on its head that it uses in the same way as a bull does back on Earth, seemed not bothered by creatures like the Saber-tooth or raptors. Both the raptors and Carnotaur are also heavily present in other parts of Planet ARK, and therefore we will take a closer look on those particular dinosaurs in another episode. However, there's one dinosaur on this island that is so rare that we have to take a closer look at it. It is the Giganotosaurus. Though many would think of dinosaurs like the T-Rex or Spinosaurus when it comes to the most dangerous predators, in actuality, the Giganotosaurus is the most devastating of them all. The only thing is that they are very rare, arguably the rarest land predator to be found all throughout Planet ARK. Its aggressive nature makes it to where it will attack almost anything that moves. The short time that the scientists monitored the behavior of the Giganotosaurus, it killed over 10 other animals. They found it fascinating how a predator so large could survive on a small island. At this rate, the fauna would go extinct in a matter of weeks. With the absence of herbivores, the scientists could not conclude if normally a Giganotosaurus diet would mostly consist of large herbivores like a Diplodocus. The kills it made on the island were mostly Argentavis, Saber-tooth, and raptors, far too small to satisfy its hunger. The smaller size of its prey could mean that the Giganotosaurus was in constant hunger and explained why it killed so much. Other scientists believed it must have come from the main island towards the Scorched side through shallow waters, as another Giganotosaurus had been spotted here as well. We then move on to the mainland mass surrounding the volcano. This island is 3 times the size of the northern island, yet does not offer as much variety in both ecological system and animal alike. Scientists still did not come up with an official name, as some would name it after the many lava pits and streams, while others would name it after the large amount of T-Rexes found here. Though the Tyrannosaurus rex can be found in multiple locations throughout Planet ARK, including thick jungles and even tundras, this species is nowhere as dominant as it is here. What is very interesting is that the aggressiveness of the Tyrannosaurus is much higher here. There have been sightings of T-Rexes on the Scorched Island, but they leave some of the other predators alone, including smaller ones. But on the main island, they hunt everything that is even remotely near them. Though it could be a similar situation as with the Giganotosaurus, where prey like small raptors are not enough to satisfy its hunger, some believe their aggressive behavior has also to do with them preserving their own kind as the dominant species on this island. Further land inward, the black volcanic beaches make way for razor-sharp rocks surrounded by charred-out trees. Here it becomes apparent that this ecosystem consists of the same formula as seen in the Scorched Island with the Saber-tooth, Argentavis, and T-Rex. Though water is scarce on this island, it can be found in places, but in no way do these provide a safe drinking spot. This particular one houses a Spinosaurus, a very rare sighting in this region. The Spinosaurus can often be found near rivers due to its great ability to swim thanks to its large fin on its back, but at the same time, it can be fast on land too and prefers shade to surprise its prey. The absence of other Spinosaurus on the island has scientists believe that this particular one got lost and stranded on the island. It decided to stay here as this was one of the few places that had some water to offer. The water itself does not hold much life. One particular animal that can be found though is the piranha, aggressive fish that will eat almost anything that comes in the water. It does not discriminate between herbivore and carnivore, but the fact that it leaves the Spinosaurus alone might mean that the fish realizes it's too big for it, or that there are too few to take it on at the same time. If one goes even higher, it becomes steeper and steeper as we come closer to its peak. Once more, the T-Rex is on a dominant display as it attacks multiple animals at once. The strength of its jaw can easily snap bones, and it does not take the T-Rex long to rid itself of these pests. Much like seen all throughout, immediately it looks for a new target and finds this in a near Carnotaur. During this battle, it can be clearly seen how the Carnotaur uses its horns in the same way that a bull does. Its jaw strength is nowhere near that of a T-Rex, and thus it would not win in a confrontation with sheer bites. Instead, it tries to wound it by puncturing its legs or stomach. If the Carnotaur would face off against a smaller foe, the impact of the Carnotaur's charge would also fling its enemy back several meters. Then we finally reach the peak, and where one might think that it is here where the T-Rex has made its lair and has the most dominance, instead, they can only be found in a scattered manner. Much of this has to do with the giant lava pool found around here, making it extremely difficult for any animal to make this their nesting ground. Rather than the T-Rex, the Argentavis is more dominant, as they have to worry about less predators coming up here, and at the same time, their ability to fly over to other places in search for a meal. Confrontation up here often end in the favor of the Argentavis, as multiple will flock down on any carnivore attacking them. Nevertheless, some of the Argentavis get wounded in these fights, and it is exactly these wounded ones that make the perfect snack for any Tyrannosaurus on the lookout. And with a beautiful vista over many of the other landmasses close to the Ark Center, it is here that we have almost come to an end with the Scorched Islands. On the next episode, we will revisit this island one last time, but instead head underground. This island hosts a cave entrance that leads to mysterious and untamed places, where creatures that cannot bear the sensation of light and that make the little hairs in one's neck stand up. Thank you for watching another episode, and if you want to support this channel and like to see more cinematic videos in the future, please consider donating through my Patreon, which can be found in the description down below. I will see you all next time on another episode of Planet ARK.